The crypto market is dipping and ETH just broke below 3.5k support level. But the big question is it the start of a new bearish trend or it's just a healthy correction? Hello everyone, Richard here and welcome to a new weekly overview here on AltCryptoTalk. Today, I'll be going over 7 charts and indicators to answer this specific question. So let's get started, and of course don't forget to smash that like button if you like such content. Starting with USDT dominance. You can apply the same logic on USDC dominance, but since USDT has a bigger market cap, I personally prefer it. You all know it, if USDT dominance is going down, it means traders are optimistic, they are buying crypto assets, and vice versa. If USDT dominance is going up, it means people are scared, pessimistic, and they are selling their crypto assets, moving it to a stable coin, just like USDT and USDC. And this is exactly what's happening. Recently, we've broken above this previous major high and a very strong structure, and I'm expecting one more bullish leg, which would be one more bearish leg for crypto. But from a long-term perspective, if you zoom a little bit out, you can see that we have been overall bearish. We've got our big impulse, a correction, a big impulse, and we are currently in the making of this correction movement. Bullish for USDT dominance and bearish for crypto. However, as USDT dominance approaches the upper bound of this falling channel and the 4.6 support and resistance zone, I'll be expecting the next big bearish movement for USDT, which would be the next big bullish impulse for crypto, resulting in a new all-time high for BTC. But let's take it step by step, right? I'm expecting one more big bullish leg. If you zoom a little bit in, you can see that previously we've got a very similar scenario. We formed a high, we've broken above it, which is exactly where we are now. Then we had the bearish correction before the bullish correction started. So I'm expecting this, which is happening currently as we speak, and then I'm expecting one more big bullish movement, which would be this final stage of the correction before the bears take over again, which would be of course bullish for crypto. Next, we've got total market cap, a very good indicator to get an idea about how liquid is the market, one, and how much money is flowing into crypto. If you zoom out to weekly time frame, you can see that we previously broken above the all-time high at 3.7 trillion, and we are currently in this tiny correction phase, the first bearish week for over a month, right? If you zoom into daily time frame, you can clearly see the big bullish movement. We are currently in this impulse phase. If you zoom out even more, you can see that this is just the start of the impulse movement. Big impulse, big correction, big impulse, sharp correction, and I'm currently expecting this third leg. As you can see, 1 and 2, and now we are going for the third one. 1 for the impulse, 2 for the impulse, and I'm expecting this to be the biggest and the last one for the cycle, resulting in a movement maybe towards the 5 trillion mark or even 7 trillion mark. It depends on how the fundamentals are pushing the price towards the upside. Anyway, let's keep it technical. If you zoom a little bit in, you can see that just like USDT dominance, but of course the opposite, we've broken below this structure and this low. I'm expecting the price to retest it, which is happening now. One more bearish movement towards the lower bound, and then the next impulse movement to start. So don't worry if you can see more pain, you can see your portfolio bleeding again for a week or two, but remember, it is just a correction phase, and then we'll be expecting the next big bullish movement to start. The next support for total market cap would be around this area, the structure, previously a resistance, turned support, intersecting with the lower bound of this rising channel, as you can see in green. Next, we've got OTHERS.D or others dominance, which basically are the altcoins. And as I mentioned previously last month, this is a very good indicator to get a feeling about the altcoin season. It's going to start, yes, in my opinion, and I'm still waiting for a break. If you remember the previous outlook, I'm still waiting for a break above this previous major high, this high and the upper trend line in red. However, you can see that we've broken back below this resistance zone. we broke below it, retested it, and we are currently pushing lower. I'm expecting further downside towards this lower bound, which would be basically BTC holding strong, which we'll be seeing in a bit, but altcoins are bleeding more, right? Still a correction for all the crypto market, but altcoins will be bleeding a little bit further. And then expecting a movement towards the 7 round number, 7%, before the bulls take over again. This would be the last phase of the bull run. BTC, as I mentioned previously, we are still holding strong while many altcoins made new lows last week. BTC held this level around 110k. 110, 120k is a very strong area. We need a break above the 120 to expect further upside towards the 140 target. If you zoom a little bit out, you can see our target lining up with multiple intersections. Upper bound of this rising channel in orange, which is engulfing this current bullish phase. Upper bound of this macro one in blue, which is the overbought zone, which I call the euphoria zone, and the 140k. Anyway, this is our long-term target, which would be the next couple of months. But for now, let's keep it step by step. We're approaching a very strong support, which I call a trio retest, which would be basically the lower two trend lines, 1 and 2, in orange and in red, and also the structure here, a very strong one, lining up with almost around the previous all-time high at 112. Around this area, and 112 is around this area. As long as we are above 107, we are still bullish. We can still go a little bit down further, but it is just a correction, just like this previous one. Big impulse correction, big impulse already done, currently in this correction. And for the bulls to take over long term again, we need to see a break above this falling channel, which would be the correction, broken above it to start, or to initiate the next bullish phase. Next, ETH, of course. Daily time frame around 3.5k, and as I mentioned at the start of this video, we just broke below 3.5k. If you zoom into H4 time frame, you can see it right there. We've broken below this low, which is lining up with the 3.5k, 35.50, and now I'm expecting this second leg. Of course, unless the bulls kick in an aggressive manner, invalidating this bearish movement, which would be breaking above 35.90. If you break above it, this would be breaking back above this area, which is currently acting as a resistance. By breaking above it, it would act as support again, and we'll be expecting the bulls to take over again. But as long as we are below 35.90, we don't close the day above 35.90, we can still expect this bearish movement towards the 3100, 3.1k. 3.1k is a very strong area. Previously support, broken downward, and then now acting as support again. We also have this demand zone, which if you zoom a little bit in, you can see that it's the only pulse or the only bearish candle within this big impulse. It's still fresh, untouched. So if we push a little bit lower, we can expect a massive bullish movement to start from this area. Next, we've got BNB. We've broken above the previous all-time high last week, and I'm still expecting one more big bullish movement towards the 1k round number, which would be lining up perfectly with the upper bound of this rising channel, as you can see in blue, giving us an idea about where the overbought zone will be, which would be, as you see, around the 1k. Currently, we've broken back below the all-time high, the previous all-time high, and we are currently bearish. However, we're approaching a very strong support. Previous resistance, currently acting as support. We've got this demand zone, just like ETH. Impulse, pause, only bearish candle here before the next big bullish movement started. So this area is a very strong area, intersecting with the demand, support, and the lower trend line, as you can see in orange. So we are in a correction phase, but I'm expecting one more bearish movement before the next big bullish movement to start. So from all of these altcoins so far, or these tokens so far, or the indices, just like USD dominance and total, we can see that we can expect one more bearish movement before the bulls take over, which will be the end of the correction phase. Last but not least, XRP. Broken above this previous all-time high at 3.4, reached around 3.67 before the bears took over again. And if you remember from the previous altcoins overview and the overviews here as well, I've mentioned that if you break below 3.34, we'll be expecting the bears to take over. First towards the 3, and if the 3 is broken downward, I'll be expecting a deeper bearish movement towards the 2.6. 2.6, 2.7 is a very strong support zone and structure. As you see, we are currently bearish, retesting the 3 round number, which is currently acting as a resistance zone and also intersecting with the upper bound of this falling channel. I'm still expecting one more leg towards the 2.6, and here I'll be expecting the bulls to take over long term again, of course, to be confirmed after breaking above this falling channel, as you can see in red. And just like ETH, for the price to invalidate this next bearish leg, we need to see a daily candle close above the 3 round number. In this case, the bulls would take over early and start the next big impulse movement. That's it for these 7 indicators and charts, whatever you want to call it. Let me know if you also expect one more bearish movement before the bulls take over, or you expect the price to invalidate this bearish trend and start the next impulse movement on XRP, ETH, and all the charts that we went over today. And of course, let me know which tokens you would like me to go over next. And I'll see you on the next one.